Syracuse is back home and ready for a bounce-back opportunity after an OT loss at North Carolina over the weekend. Tonight's opponent is Georgia Tech, fresh off a win against Florida State. We're officially past the midway point of conference play as the Orange and Yellow Jackets face off in a pivotal ACC matchup. With that, welcome courtside here inside the JMA Wireless Dome with Riley Underwood. I'm Sam Reese. Riley, a great chance for Syracuse to be back at home, but also Georgia Tech to snatch a big road win.
Georgia Tech head coach Karen Blair told her team earlier today, we have an opportunity. That opportunity to get a quad one win over a really good Syracuse squad.
That's right, and one player in particular that will give them that chance, Talea Walker, who has been absolutely electric on the offensive end for the Yellow Jackets.
Talea Walker shoots at an unbelievable clip, almost 50% from beyond the arc. She can score it from all three levels. She's also just relentless to the hoop. Coach Blair told us she wants her to shoot even more threes.
Also, north of 80% free throw shooter. Uche Izoje on the other side for the Orange has been leading the way. She might be a freshman, but she's coming off of a season-high 27-point performance. By the way, also had 12 rebounds for her 9th double-double of the season.
Uche Izoje is about as polished as a freshman can come in college basketball today. She can do it on both ends of the ball. Just pure dominance, scoring the ball, defending the post. Also, the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year watch list. He was ACC Rookie of the Week 6 times so far this season. Izoje is the player to watch.
She's now the leading scorer for this team with over 14 points per game. Let's now go to our sideline reporter, Hunter Caparelli, who has more on the rebound battle tonight. Hunter?
Sam, one of the biggest storylines going into tonight's matchup is a battle of strength on strength. Syracuse's offensive rebounding versus Georgia Tech's defensive rebounding. Syracuse currently ranks 4th nationally crashing the glass with just under 18 per game. The Yellow Jackets, meanwhile, have excelled in not giving up offensive boards. Coach Blair told us it's going to take a full 40 minutes of disciplined effort to box out a relentless Syracuse squad who, in Coach Jack's words, doesn't wait for somebody's permission to go grab a rebound.
Thanks so much, Hunter. That's right, got to get there first. That rebound battle will be something we keep an eye out for. And the two in the tip-off, Uche Izoje and Brianna Turnage, will be at the forefront of that battle as we're off and running from inside the dome, officially the second half of the ACC slate. And right away, it's a three for Layla Filia.
Nice for Layla Filia to get back in the groove. Had an off game last game, just 6 points after missing a game with a lower back injury.
Here you see the Georgia Tech lineup: Brianna Turnage, Erica Moon, Talea Walker, Lanaya Foster, and Ariadna Termes. The same starting 5 as last time out. And then on the Syracuse side, you have a similar looking lineup. The one notable inclusion, Shy Hawkins back into the lineup after coming off the bench last game. Sophie Burrows, Layla Filia, Dominique Darius, and Uche Izoje have consistently started throughout the season. And Darius pops and drops one home. 5-0 already. Filia and Darius getting in on the scoring. That's a good sign for the Orange.
Certainly 2 big buckets back-to-back. Hot start for the Orange. But we talked about the rebound battle. And what's interesting about today is both teams are starting 4 guards, so it's going to be a smaller lineup for both teams. This is what Georgia Tech usually goes with, the 4-guard lineup. But for Syracuse, it's kind of an adjustment.
It is a little something different for the Syracuse squad, who leads 5-0 early, led by Felicia Leggett-Jack, who played for the Orange, now in her 4th season at the helm. This is the 14th all-time meeting between the Orange and Yellow Jackets. Georgia Tech leads the all-time series 7-6. And Izoje well off the mark there. Burrows keeps it alive though. Hawkins feeds it inside, no one guarding Izoje, and she has her first 2 points. Syracuse off and running.
This is kind of similar to what we saw last game when Syracuse played at North Carolina when Uche Izoje had her double-double. Well, she didn't start off the game well. She started it off with an air ball, so back-to-back games starting off, but then she follows it up with a second chance bucket.
And after the Foster missed 3, it's a chance to add on more for Syracuse. Darius, jumper, good. She's up to 4 points, and a timeout called by Karen Blair, the first-year head coach for the Jackets. 9-0. Syracuse came to play. We're not even 2 minutes in. Dominique Darius, the tone setter for the Orange early on in the Dome. Welcome back inside the JMA Wireless Dome, where Syracuse is off to an early 9-0 lead over Georgia Tech. You see the ACC preseason all-freshman team, a notable omission, Uche Izoje, the 6-time Rookie of the Week, as we go to Hunter Caparelli on the sideline.
Yeah, Sam, Coach Jack says they had made it a priority to get the ball to Izoje down low, who recorded her 9th double-double last Sunday with a career-high 27 points and 10 rebounds. Coach Jack says the next step for Izoje to progress her game is extending her range so she can efficiently shoot 15 to 18-foot jump shots. She's been practicing shooting out from farther distances in practice, so now it's just about building that confidence to take those types of shots in live game scenarios, which Coach Jack has given Izoje the green light to do so.
Thanks so much, Hunter, and it's cool to see the development even over the course of her freshman season for Izoje, who was under the radar perhaps going into the year, but everyone knows about her now. You also should know about Brianna Turnage, who just got Georgia Tech on the board, primarily dominating the glass. Doesn't score a ton of points, averaging 5 this season. She's used to playing in important games against Syracuse, was a part of Florida State, but Izoje with the quick answer for the Orange, who reclaimed that 9-point lead.
And Turnage is a really exciting player to watch for the Yellow Jackets, especially defensively and on the board. She had a career-high 18 rebounds, led the team in rebounds for the 12th time this year last game, 7 points. That was her 11th game this year with at least 10 boards, and her second game with 18 rebounds in her last 4. She also had a career-high 9 blocks last Thursday against North Carolina. Oh, keep in mind, she's a guard.
Right. Layla Felia gets it to go. Her and Darius already have a couple of buckets for the Orange. That was in response to a Lanaya Foster bucket. Georgia Tech nearly turns it over. What great defense by Felia. She can score and she can cause turnovers. Here is Felia. Floats one down inside. Back out. Burrows for 3. Bank it home. Sophie Burrows knocks down her first 3-point try. And it's 16-4 Syracuse.
Not Sunday yet. Banks still open for Burrows, who gets on the board with a 3.
That's tipped out of bounds. It stays with the Jackets, who trail by 12 early on. And how about Layla Felia and company? That time Izoje causing the turnover as well, and then Syracuse cashing in at the other end.
I mean, that's kind of been what Syracuse has been so good at this year, causing those turnovers, getting those hands in the cookie jar on defense, especially Felia and Dominique Darius, who's guarding the ball right now. Both of them are so good, forcing bad missed shots, and just even if you force a missed shot, that's as good as a caused turnover. Then you turn it over on the other end.
Right, there's an unforced turnover. Darius frustrated with herself right away on the cross-court feed. Meanwhile, first substitution of the game, Lanaya Foster taking a seat for Georgia Tech. And in comes Savannah Samuel, the Boston College transfer who hit an important 3 against Syracuse last year when they met in the ACC tournament. There are 8 total transfers. 10 out of the 13 players are newcomers for the Jackets. And there's a steal again by Syracuse. Tough shot. Hawkins fouled by Samuel. 2 shots coming up for Shy Hawkins, making her 10th start of the season.
Shy Hawkins is a tough nose player. She's not afraid to go up and draw contact and get to the line. She struggles, though, is when she gets to the line, shooting just around 64% this year.
29 for 45. And her first try is good. Aurora Almon has started the last 4 games. She's going to come off the bench tonight. Journey Thompson, the lone player, out for Syracuse due to an upper body injury after a career-high 10 rebounds over the weekend. It's a 1-for-2 trip for Hawkins, 17-4. It's still all Orange in the early going. First to speed forward and a foul at the other end. That goes against Izoje, and Erica Moon earns a trip to the stripe.
That was just going in until somebody stops me or I get the bucket. It didn't look like too bad of a foul. A little ticky-tacky there, but she gets to the line. Shoot 2.
Moon, a transfer from Texas A&M, from Atlanta, and that was a focus for Coach Karen Blair. It wasn't necessarily her plan to bring in such a new team, as she's in her first year as a head coach, coming over as an assistant from Maryland, but she said getting players like Moon to return to her hometown of Atlanta and transfer to Georgia Tech was an opportunity that was there. And there you see Karen Blair, who back in the day, early on in her coaching career, was an assistant at nearby Colgate. Her phone number is actually a 315 number, she was telling us. So people think she's from Central New York. That's just when she got that original phone. But says she enjoyed her time, and about an hour away in Hamilton at Colgate. They played Syracuse in non-conference action, so she's excited to be back here in Central New York. And when she was at Maryland, too, as an assistant, they had a home-and-home with Syracuse pretty recently.
Blair was a pretty good point guard back in her day as well, a real facilitator at Southern Methodist, which is now an ACC school. It wasn't back then. Averaged 4 assists per game throughout her career. She knows a thing or two about handling the rock.
She does. Right after she played at SMU, that's where she began her coaching career for a while. Made a lot of stops after that, and now has landed her first head coaching gig. That's off the mark from Deasia Thomas-Harris, one of just 3 returners on this Jackets team. And GT just finding trouble getting that offensive consistency.
Georgia Tech only has 2 freshmen on the roster. Neither of them have touched the floor so far this season for Georgia Tech, so it's been all sophomores and above. 8 transfers from the portal in Blair's first year.
And Moon throws it away, trying to feed Samuel in the corner. And it's just been a quiet start all around for Georgia Tech, particularly from Talea Walker, who doesn't have a single point yet. Came into the day averaging nearly 17 a game. There was a span where she had 6 consecutive 20-point performances, also had back-to-back 30-point games. Feels like it's only a matter of time before she heats up, but a quiet start nonetheless. Darius leaves it short, and there's Turnage with a rebound. That's her specialty.
You'll be seeing Turnage get active on the boards a lot today. She's just a hard-nosed player, knows how to get in, grit and grind it inside, and stands at 6'1", knows how to handle the ball as well. Not really an offensive player, more of a scrapper, and that's exactly what Olivia Schmidt is as well, a scrapper who just checks in for Syracuse.
Schmidt has been a consistent figure off the bench, has appeared in 16 of the 21 games for the Orange this year. Played 11 minutes over the weekend at UNC in an overtime loss, and that's a turnover by Georgia Tech. Talea Walker stepped out of bounds along the baseline.
That Syracuse pressure, forcing almost 17 turnovers a game in ACC play. That's second in the conference.
Hawkins just off the mark, and it's secured on the glass by Moon. She's flying the other way. Has 2 of Georgia Tech's 6 points. Turnage guarded tightly by Hawkins, goes up and puts it home. Brianna Turnage up to 4 points. That's just 1 off her average per game.
Just a great move inside to get on the front side and get around Hawkins on the inside. Just easy layup. You couldn't get much easier than that.
And here's a look at that Turnage bucket. Was she fouled on the play?
I don't think so. Hawkins just got too far out. She thought that Turnage was going to pass, and she didn't. She went up for 2.
Right.
We heard Felicia Leggett-Jack talk in practice earlier today. She said they want to bait Turnage into taking shots. She's not usually known for her scoring. She does shoot 50% though from the field, but no threes. She's not going to take a 3. No threes so far this year.
Izoje was just called for the travel, so Syracuse gives it back to Georgia Tech, who has closed in to a lead that was once 13, now 9. Inside for Walker, but it's stuffed away by Izoje. Burrows pushes it ahead to Kira Scott. She can't save it. A little bit too fast in transition from the Orange.
Trying to get a little too ahead of themselves there. It was a good job by Izoje to get a hand in. And you can't turn the ball right over. That's the second time we've seen Syracuse do that today.
Already 9 combined turnovers, 6 for Georgia Tech. Turnage can't connect. Izoje, another takeaway. She read that one nicely. Felia on the near wing. Pulls up from the elbow, short. Scott the board. And that is a tie-up. Thomas Harris got her hands in there, and the possession arrow belongs to the Yellow Jackets.
Coach Jack was not happy on that sideline. She wanted the foul call, but they call it a jump ball, and it will be Yellow Jackets' possession.
A little bit of a lull. Georgia Tech has turned the ball over 4 times in the last 3 minutes, but in that span, Syracuse hasn't scored a point. So the Orange haven't managed to capitalize. Catherine Albin is in the game for the first time, and Izoje tips away another one. Another steal for Syracuse.
He's so good defensively.
Georgia Tech just hasn't even been able to get the ball into the paint. It's been all Izoje's territory. Schmidt to Scott. Floated into Izoje. Up, no good. And the rebound by Georgia Tech. Jada Crawshaw getting her first minutes for the Jackets. The Australian transferred in from Long Beach State. And after Syracuse started the game 5 for 5, they've now missed their last 6 shots. Walker trying to get wiggle room, but she walked. Syracuse just swarming the paint, and Georgia Tech having no answers.
That's what happens. I mean, the defense just so suffocating for Felicia Leggett-Jack's squad. It kind of forces you to make decisions a little too fast for Georgia Tech to handle. In this case, they get called for the travel.
Syracuse takes over. The Orange have a 9-point lead despite a 4-minute scoring drought. Can they end it on this possession? Maybe, because Scott's going to the line for 2. The foul called against Thomas Harris.
Kira Scott hasn't shot too many free throws this year. She's 9 for 12 so far this season. Plays about 9 minutes a game. She's gotten good playing time early in this one with Journey Thompson out with an upper body injury.
Right, only 2 minutes for Scott against UNC back on Sunday as Layla Felia checks out for Dominique Darius. And Scott will hope for better luck on the second try. Darius, who has re-entered, has 4 points. Felia, who came out, leads the team with 5. Scott makes the second, so 18-8. That ends a scoring drought of nearly 5 minutes for Syracuse. Down low, the layup doesn't fall for Crawshaw. Syracuse pushing the pace. Olivia Schmidt all the way in. Tough shot, way off the mark, but Izoje's there. Can't get it to fall. Battle for the rebound, and it's last touch by Georgia Tech.
Izoje just seems to be off just a little bit on those close range shots, not being able to connect. Just 2 for 5 right now from the field, but those misses are all coming right next to the basket.
Here she is with the ball, the freshman who played her last 3 years in Japan, originally from Nigeria, and Hawkins has it straight up stripped away. Albin in transition. Can't get the jumper to fall, and Darius is there for the board. Time winding down on the first quarter clock. And that's partly why Darius just slows things down. Inside Izoje. Bobbled around. Scott tries to fight for it, but Turnage has possession. And Scott a little slow to get up behind the play. Lob inside, the return pass to Turnage. Poked free, it stays with the Yellow Jackets. 13 seconds left in the quarter.
Syracuse tried to get it inside to Izoje, but as soon as that ball was passed to the inside, 3 Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets collapsed to the paint, so it was essentially a triple team and ended up in a turnover.
Georgia Tech hasn't scored in the last 3.5 minutes. That drought continues. Rebound by Hawkins. There's 5 seconds to go. Schmidt crosses the timeline. Pops a deep 3 off the mark. A good look. Schmidt can't quite convert, but it's Syracuse in control through the opening 10 minutes of play. 18-8. The Orange lead the Yellow Jackets. We have second quarter action coming your way from the Dome after this. Welcome back to Central New York, where Syracuse leads Georgia Tech 18-8 through 1 quarter of play, and a big reason why is the stifling defense of Syracuse.
Syracuse 6 steals already. Georgia Tech just can't get anything going offensively because they keep turning the ball over.
And for more on that defense, we take a look at how exactly the Orange have stifled the Yellow Jackets. And just in general, this season have had success. The steals per game is what catches the eye.
Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, almost 12 per game, second in the conference. Just elite. They're almost over halfway to that mark already, and we're just 10 minutes in.
Let's go to Hunter Caparelli for more.
Yeah, Sam, Syracuse has hung their hat this season in having a defensive tenacity through all 4 quarters of the game. Coach Jack says in practice they've been focusing on communication on the defensive side of the ball while treating every game like it's their last. The Orange are averaging 12 steals per game. It's going to be a long night for the Jackets if they don't start taking better care of the basketball.
That's right. It's a Syracuse team that actually ended that first quarter 0 of its last 9, but because of that defense, it's helped them maintain that double-digit lead, and Dominique Darius has a chance to add on to it at the line.
Oh, it's exactly what you need to do. When you cause turnovers, you have to capitalize off them, but they just haven't been able to have any shots fall. But one way to get some points on the board is to get to the line, and Dominique Darius hits her first.
It's now 5 points for Darius, who has had 19 or more points in her last 3 games now. She drains both free throws, and the Syracuse lead is 12. Georgia Tech has won 6 of the last 7 meetings between these teams, including last year down in Atlanta, 85-68. That was a Georgia Tech team that made the NCAA tournament, lost in the first round. We take a look at Uche Izoje continuing to dominate, blocking Jada Crawshaw.
That's what she does. You'll see a lot of those today. Almost 3 blocks per game. That leads the ACC. When you're talking about the last matchup, Georgia Tech won 85-68. That improved them to 15-0 last year, while Syracuse dropped to 6-7. Certainly a different story tonight when you look in the record books, as Layla Filia almost got called for a double dribble, it looked like.
Very different story this year, and while Filia might have got away with that, it paid off for the Orange because Hawkins gets it for 2, and Filia with the block at the other end. It's all Syracuse right now. Burrows drives inside, can't bank it home, and Turnage swoops in for the rebound.
What Turnage is good at, she's going to get those boards if you don't box out.
Crawshaw gets it to go, and the foul.
It was like Darius got Crawshaw on the side of the head, obvious foul. And one very nice, tough bucket from the Australian. Nice dish from Moon. Yeah, that's a foul.
Can't really argue that one. Crawshaw actually didn't feature in Georgia Tech's win against Florida State back on Sunday. But has played in now 16 of their 21 games as a prominent role player off the bench. 22-10 Orange. You see right there are in a slump offensively, but still with a demanding lead. Darius.
The defense is so good.
Right. And Georgia Tech gets a much needed stop there. It's a foul against Syracuse. Burrows just reached in.
Lucky for Darius that wasn't called on her, because that would have been her second foul in as many minutes.
Albin all the way to the cup. Can't get the layup to go. And it's last touched by Crawshaw underneath. That's the type of opportunity that you expect Albin to capitalize on. It's not every day you see the second leading scorer, which Albin is for this team with about 11 points per game, come off the bench, but she never starts. She's usually put in as a defensive sub to defend the best guard on the other side. That allows Moon to run the point as a true point guard. She makes a great impact off the bench. Hawkins short on the jumper, and Turnage the other way for GT. Izoje seals the lane. Fed to the corner. Here's Albin. Off the mark.
Good ball movement, though, by Georgia Tech on that possession. They had about 2 open looks there, but just couldn't convert.
Georgia Tech just 25% from the field. They've only knocked down 4 shots through the opening 12 minutes. Deep 2, short from Hawkins. And Albin has that speed all the way to the cup, gets it to go. And that's something Coach Karen Blair stressed to us talking at shoot-around earlier today. When Albin comes onto the floor, she's going to be the fastest player on the court and come with 100% energy. We're already seeing that.
And she's hounding on defense, too. She can pick you up full court. And there's a turnover because Dominic Darius, I believe, just gets called for holding the ball.
Yeah. Albin's aggressive defense paying off, and here is that play where she just outraces Syracuse.
She's just so fast, end to end, coast to coast. You cannot keep up with Albin, especially when she's fresh off the bench.
Albin came over from Charleston Southern, where she played her first 3 years of college basketball, scored nearly 1,200 points there in 88 games played. Crawshaw weaves inside. Off the mark. And Syracuse there for the board. Burrows gives it right back. It's Crawshaw with the steal. Jackets push the pace, and Albin heading to the line. That's the second on Sophie Burrows.
Albin's just willing herself to the line right now. No one's gonna stop her, just full speed ahead. Not close to making it, but goes to the line to shoot too, where she's an above average free throw shooter, 73% from the line.
And the first try drops home. She had a 20-point performance against Norfolk State back in early December. That's her season high, and again, she's appeared in every game but one off the bench, so basically never starts, but she's that energy spark. That sixth player that you love to have on your team. 22-14 Orange. Felia can't get it to fall.
Jasmine Cooper's checked into the game for Syracuse. Her first game playing since January 8th versus Virginia Tech. Freshman from Northeastern Massachusetts. Uche Izoje gets called for the travel when she's wide open in the backcourt, and it's going back the other way.
Maybe just thinking one step ahead, quite literally too.
There you go.
Thinking about that next pass, but forgot to collect her feet. You mentioned Cooper into the game. You're right. Last 4 games she didn't feature in, so the freshman getting some run here, and that's something we could expect. Felicia Leggett-Jack telling us anticipate more and more rotation, just more of the same, depending on the matchups. Crawshaw denied. Scott got a piece of it.
The Orange are playing very big right now. They started the game with 4 guards, and Burrows playing the 4. Right now they have 3 big forwards in.
Darius wide open, but can't connect. It's a foul, though, against Georgia Tech underneath.
They're going to get Lanaya Foster for that. What happened there, I think she just held on to Izoje while she was trying to corral the rebound. Here's the pass from Izoje out to Dominic Darius. Good. Yeah, you can't really see it there.
And Izoje does it herself this time. Doesn't have to dish it out. The layup good from the freshman. And that ends a 6-0 GT run. Jackets looking for an answer. Moon, tough shot, fouled by Cooper. And you have to say the biggest development so far is that through nearly 15 minutes of play, Talea Walker, who's averaging nearly 17 points per game for Georgia Tech, hasn't scored yet.
0 for 4 Walker from the field, and she really hadn't got many good looks. Obviously a point of emphasis for Felicia Jack's squad because they knew that's who Georgia Tech wants to get the ball to, and they really haven't gotten the ball to her so far.
Instead, Moon up to 3 points now as Crawshaw takes a seat for Georgia Tech. That's a 2-for-2 trip at the line. All 4 of Moon's points have come from the charity stripe. Syracuse by 8. Izoje can't quite hit the mid-range jumper. We heard Hunter talking earlier about how that's the type of shot Coach Jack is encouraging more of from her freshman sensation. Ariadna Termes with the ball. To Turnage. Back outside, Termes for 3. Short, Turnage another rebound. Inside, the lefty lay good. Lanaya Foster gets it done.
Turnage is so good with those offensive rebounds. Again, she averages about 10 boards a game as a 6'1" guard. Just really good boxing out.
And that falls. Layla Felia gets it to go. Georgia Tech running quickly. Here's Foster who had the last bucket. Can't do it again.
I missed everything.
It did. And we're playing at a faster pace now. Schmidt inside to Scott. Spins around. Gets it to go. Kira Scott with a beautiful move.
That was a nice bucket inside. A little bit off balance. She just had that perfect touch to lay it in.
Albin, deep 2. Off back iron, and she pushed off on Scott. That's a foul going out. And a timeout. 28-18, Syracuse on top. More after this from the Dome.
Well, coming up on the ACC Network Halftime Report, we'll give you a recap of everything that happened in the first half between Syracuse and Georgia Tech. Plus, we'll take a look at the ACC football schedule that was released on Friday. But for now, we'll send it back to the Dome with Sam and Riley.
Thank you, Nicholas. Look forward to hearing from you guys at the halftime break, but still about 4 minutes to go until we get there. Syracuse up 28-18 over Georgia Tech with Riley Underwood. I'm Sam Reese. Riley, offensively things maybe have slowed down a bit, but the defensive battle has been at the forefront and is why the Orange are on top by 10.
I think so. I mean, this is a low-scoring affair, especially on Syracuse's part, I would say. I think they were expecting to really come out hot, and that's what they kind of did come out hot a little bit, but then they went on that shooting slump. That's what Felicia Jack said she wasn't happy with her team about in the UNC loss, is that they just started off slow.
Scott with a 3, got it!
It's her first 3 of the year.
1 for 4 on the season, and a quick steal by Felia, all the way to the cup, count it. 5 quick points for Syracuse. That came out of nowhere.
I think they heard me. I think they heard me saying they were starting off slow. 5 points in about a span of 5 seconds.
That was fast. And what was a 10-point lead quickly has turned into 15. Cooper can't save that one. It stays with Georgia Tech. Let's go back to that sequence. First, the three-pointer. Kira Scott, not a known three-point shooter, but she looked natural there. And then moments later, the Felia steal as well. What a sequence.
Syracuse imposing their will, and now Kira Scott imposing her will defensively, but another offensive rebound from Brianna Turnage.
And that's 600 for her career. The captain for Georgia Tech spent 3 years at Florida State, and now in her final year of eligibility at Georgia Tech reaches a milestone with 9 tonight, 600 on her career. Unfortunate for her that it quickly got stolen, and Schmidt lights it up from downtown. We've seen Kira Scott and Olivia Schmidt come off the bench and deliver some big-time shots from downtown.
They were teammates in high school at DME Academy in Jacksonville, Florida. These guys are now lighting it up for Syracuse. Olivia Schmidt is a fan favorite. Hear that crowd pop a little bit every time she gets a bucket. And Savannah Samuel, the 6th-year journeyman, gets a bucket on the other end.
That's right, Samuel, someone who began her collegiate career back in 2020 with Oregon State, before she then spent 2 years at West Virginia and then 2 at BC, really 1 because she had to sit out that first year due to transfer rules.
I didn't even know you had to sit out. I mean, she transferred so many times they made her sit out again.
Exactly. And that COVID year, her first year of college, everyone got an extra year of eligibility that played that season because of that. So that's why she gets that 6th year, and now on her 4th school, making an impact for Georgia Tech off the bench. And we were talking as well about those threes from Kira Scott and Olivia Schmidt. That 3 we saw from Kira Scott, we mentioned it was the first of the season. It was also her first since November 26th of 2024. Early on in her freshman season.
Foul, yes!
Termes fouled, and Justice Fitzgerald is into the game for Syracuse. Recovering from injury, she's playing her first game since December 16th against Binghamton. The freshman is actually from the Atlanta area and did not feature in the last 9 games for the Orange. Great to see her back on the floor. She did send Termes to the line.
Termes stays perfect on the year. Now 9 for 9 from the charity stripe. See if she can make it 10 for 10.
She does. The junior from Zaragoza, Spain, goes 2 for 2 on that trip. Remains perfect at the line this season, as Riley mentioned. Schmidt's pass batted down and snatched by Walker.
Good hands.
Great hands. And Georgia Tech draws the foul.
Maybe now we see Talia Walker heat up a little bit. She had some active hands on defense. Still scoreless so far, 0 for 4 from the floor for the 4th leading scorer in the ACC. She has 3 double-doubles this year. Gets to the line 6 times per game. Hasn't yet. She's a big part of this offense and shoots over 20% of their shots from the floor. We're having some discussion with the officials now. Both teams going to their benches.
Yeah, they're going to take a look. A coach's appeal here on the foul call.
Georgia Tech has appealed the change of possession.
I think it was ruled on Filia.
Ruled on Filia, right. And Syracuse is protesting that. There were a lot of bodies on the ground and a battle for it on the floor while that foul was committed. So they're taking a look after the coach's appeal from Felicia Leggett-Jack with 89 seconds to go in the half. And so they are looking to see if Filia had possession. And of course, if she had possession indeed, it would be a trip to the line.
Let's see here.
Yep.
I think that's the foul, and I don't think she has possession.
I agree. And in that case, they would have gotten it right on the floor with the call they made.
Yeah, I don't see where Filia ever had possession on that.
No.
Kind of just pushed Erica Moon to the ground. Everyone was trying to converge on the ball. Yeah, I think they got it right.
So according to Riley, and I agree, this shouldn't be too long of a review.
Well, we are expert officials.
That's right. But the official review carries on for now, and it's basically a free timeout for both of these teams. Syracuse hasn't used any of theirs so far this game. You get 4 throughout. Of course, media timeouts don't factor into those. Georgia Tech called that early timeout less than 2 minutes in after Syracuse started out hot out of the gate with a 9-0 lead in the early stages. And the Orange really haven't stepped off the gas since then, even though it's been a more competitive second quarter so far.
Syracuse hadn't shot the three ball at a super, I mean, they haven't shot a ton of threes, but they've been making the threes they have shot. 4 for 7, very efficient, over 50% from beyond the arc. Georgia Tech, by comparison, still has not hit a three yet, 0 for 4. They're the worst three-point shooting team in the ACC, but we were talking to Coach Blair earlier. She said she likes her team shooting them, and I just don't see the argument here.
Well, seems like a foul on Philia. They're making the ruling now. So we're going to get official word momentarily.
After review, the play has been determined to be an offensive foul. There will be no free throws. Georgia Tech will be charged a 30-second timeout for the appeal.
So I guess Georgia Tech appealed that because they originally said that Philia did have possession.
Right, so that's what it was.
We didn't agree.
Got it. So it was the opposite was called at first, that they ruled Philia had possession. But clearly she did not, and they get the ruling right. A good appeal there from Coach Blair. So here's Walker driving into the lane, and there is a foul. Turnage also went down. She wasn't the one who put up the shot, but got clipped down low. You see her in quite a bit of pain right now.
Yeah, this is huge. Brianna Turnage, one of the leaders on this team. Very tough in every facet of what she does. Let's see. I don't know if I see the foul there.
So Walker was the one fouled, and then you see
oh,
Turnage.
Yeah, that's no good. That
rolled
right
the ankle. Yeah.
Been there.
That hurts. And now here's a chance for Walker to score her first point of the game, and she does. The leading scorer this season for Georgia Tech has grown significantly after her first season at Penn State, where she averaged just north of 5 per game, came off the bench exclusively pretty much, and now has been given a chance at Georgia Tech where she's the star of the show.
Karen Blair took over. I mean, she originally tried to recruit Talia Walker to Maryland, but she committed to Penn State instead. When she got the job at Georgia Tech, she couldn't believe that Walker was still remaining in the portal, saying, I want her because I know how good she can be. Shai Hawkins gets an and one opportunity.
What a response from Syracuse. There you see a befuddled Karen Blair, who told the ref right there where's the foul, and told us earlier that she knew what Walker was capable. She didn't know if Walker fully knew what herself was capable of. She's becoming more and more confident, and there you see the Hawkins and one. She converts the free throw, and it's 39-23 Orange.
I think I might have been with Coach Blair on that one. I don't know if any real contact was made, but Hawkins converts.
Termes down to the corner with Samuel, drives the baseline, can't get the tight angle shot to go. And Syracuse can extend the lead before heading into the locker room.
Opt not to go for the 2-for-1, so.
Instead, Scott misses, but an offensive board. Izoje back to Scott, off the mark again, and a foul called against Georgia Tech. So the shot clock is dark. That is a push-off on Crawshaw.
It's the second foul Georgia Tech has been called on today for trying to box out the big Uche Izoje and just being overpowered. It's a good sign for Tech fans. Turnage checking back into the game a bit gingerly, albeit, but she already has 9 rebounds today. Not even done with the first half.
First one goes for Izoje. You mentioned Turnage's incredible rebound mark. She had 18 tying a career high last time out over the weekend against Florida State. Ezoje also someone who can rebound, misses the second try. That's really her weakest spot, free throw shooting, where she's just north of 50%. And with 2 seconds left, they have to put it up. Moon can't. What great defense from Uche Ezoje to end the half on a positive note for the Orange. 40-23 going into the break. And with that, let's go to our sideline reporter, Hunter Caparelli, who's standing by with Syracuse coach Felicia Leggett-Jack. Hunter.
Coach, you guys forced 12 turnovers in that half, leading to 14 points. What do you like about your team's defensive energy?
We're active and we're helping each other out, and we're moving on the flight of the ball. We're not waiting and then reacting. We're moving on the flight.
What do you guys have to do to close this game out in the half?
Boxing out. They're a good second half team. Their best quarter is their third quarter, and we got to look at it as 0-0, and we got to get after this thing.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hunter, and thanks, Coach Jack, as always. Halfway done in the Dome, 40-23. Syracuse leads. Nicholas Whaley and A.J. Myers have you covered back in studio after the break. Thanks so much, Nicholas and AJ, back here inside the JMA Wireless Dome. It's a 40-23 lead for Syracuse over Georgia Tech alongside Riley Underwood. I'm Sam Reese, and before we get the final 20 minutes underway, let's go to our reporter, Hunter Caparelli, who's with the head coach of Georgia Tech, Karen Blair.
Yeah, Sam, I walked out of the locker room with Coach Blair, and she was noticeably frustrated with how that first half went. I asked her what her message was to the team in the locker room, and she wants her team to be more aggressive. Now, Talia Walker, the best player for this team, their top scorer, she had a quiet first half, but as Coach Blair told us earlier today, as Talia goes, we go. If Talia could get into a rhythm here, maybe they could cut into this big deficit.
Thanks so much, Hunter. And Talia Walker, you mentioned it. Slow start so far with 1 point. How about the rebound battle, though? Turnage and Ezoje already in double figures in the rebound category, and we haven't even started the second half, Riley.
I mean, that's just unheard of. I mean, we saw Brianna Turnage get 18 rebounds last game. Uche Ezoje had 12 rebounds last game, but she did it again this game in just the first half. This is a battle of two of the best rebounders, not only in the ACC, Sam, but in the country.
And it's been on full display through the opening 20 minutes. Georgia Tech with the ball to start the second half. And Walker trying to draw the foul, but it slips out of her hands and she turns it over. So some frustrations from the first half perhaps boiling over into the second for what's been a quiet night for the leading scorer on Georgia Tech, originally from Maryland.
That was intentional, Sam. They went into halftime. They knew she was not producing enough. She wanted to force herself to the line at least for that first possession, but just couldn't draw the foul.
And what an answer at the other end for Dominique Darius. 8 points for her. Just trails Layla Filia by 1 point for the team lead. Termes, though, gets that shot to go.
Termes is a big presence, 6'6" junior. He's been with Georgia Tech all 3 years, originally from Spain, has experience with the Spanish national teams. Nice scoop, no good from Burroughs, who's had a quiet but a very productive first half.
Second chance, though, and Darius can't get the roll. Burroughs also short on the putback. So 3 opportunities there, but Syracuse can't cash in. Burroughs' only bucket was a 3-pointer early on in the game. Walker, block-to-block pass, can't connect. Turnage keeps it alive, though. Nice swing pass for Lanaya Foster. And a tough shot goes. Lanaya Foster showing off with that one.
That was a nice little turnaround, Jay. Burroughs lets it fly.
And a block-to-block pass, can't lead the points. That's a rare miss from close range by Hawkins.
It's just Burroughs' second 3-point attempt today. It's her first miss, but she pretty much has the green light to shoot from just about anywhere if she's open.
Moon gives it off for Foster. Inside Turnage. Gets it to go and the foul.
That's tough, Sam. Brianna Turnage, they call her Snoop. When she was younger, a family member noticed she had her hair like Snoop Dogg, and the nickname stuck. Everyone on Georgia Tech calls her Snoop. Now Snoop goes to the line for one to convert the old-fashioned three-point play.
So not only 10 rebounds, but now 6 points for Turnage. And make it 7. That's only 3 off her season high, which was 10 against Jacksonville early on in the campaign. Hawkins gives it off. Burrows gets the roll. 5 points for the Australian Sophie Burrows, her first 2-point bucket there.
Good hands from Filia again. She's had a good game defensively.
Nice move inside, and Walker with a big bucket just from a confidence perspective, because she only had 1 point before then. That's her first field goal made tonight.
Saw Coach Jack, she was up in arms after that last defensive possession and immediately grabbed Kira Scott up off the bench to have her check in.
That quickly turned to a smile though after the Izoje bucket, and how about the block at the other end? And Felicia Leggett-Jack is claiming that Izoje blocked that back off of the Georgia Tech player, which was Erica Moon here. Does she have a case?
I don't think so.
Don't think so.
Good
Still
block,
a great
nonetheless.
block.
Yes. Those long arms, hard to get up and over number 44. As Walker tries to, and
no luck. Izoje with another defensive stand. You see the 56 blocks lead the conference, and Filia is fouled on the floor at the other end. The Orange had a 17-point lead heading out of the halftime locker room. They have a 14-0 record when leading at the half this season. So they don't tend to be the team that steps off the gas after hot starts to games.
We talked about the turnovers, but just also the shooting efficiency going into halftime. Syracuse shooting 41%. Georgia Tech just around 25. So you can't shoot 25% and expect to win ACC games. Right now, Orange starting off hot.
And yet another foul. Again on the floor. Filia in possession, gives off for Darius. Nice pass. Scott swarmed and she traveled. Coach Jack pleading her case, but it's a turnover by Syracuse. The guys talked about it at the half, but that was a flaw for both teams with double-digit turnovers in those opening 20 minutes.
A little bit uncharacteristic for both teams. I mean, we expected Georgia Tech to have an increased amount of turnovers just because Syracuse forces so many of them. But Syracuse was a little bit sloppy on their end, as well as Turnage gets a nice wide open cut into the lane for 2.
That's 9 points for Brianna Turnage. 2 more, and that's a season high. Filia, get it. Layla Filia is so pure with that jumper. And it's 48-34. At the other end, it's Foster. Outside with Moon. Straightaway triple, Walker. Good. That's her specialty.
What you're waiting for all game long. That straightaway three-pointer. Now makes her 1 for 2 from beyond the arc. Shoots 48% from 3 on the year.
Darius and the foul. So after a Talea Walker 3 at one end, Dominique Darius with a traditional 3-point play opportunity after the hoop and the harm.
Check that out. That's what you call a tough bucket right there. Dominique Darius driving to the lane, absorbs the contact, kind of hangs in the air for an extra second or two and just lays it in. Beautiful play from Dominique Darius. And I mean, Darius is a player who we didn't really know what to expect at the beginning of this season. It's her 6th year of college basketball. She transferred from Southern California, where she actually redshirted last year. She wanted to finish her degree at Southern Cal, but she wanted to have the opportunity to play high power ball with a lot of minutes, and she's getting that at Syracuse and has really ticked up her production. 13 points per game this year. That's up from 2.5 points per game in her last college season where she played. It was 2 years ago.
A drastic improvement, and oh yeah, she can get the steals too. She just had one there, a steal and the score for Dominique Darius. Can she get another steal? Not quite. Moon survives a scare. Darius is on a mission. Moon can't stick the three, and Filia with the rebound. Scott inside, Isoje, the spin and the score. And Syracuse is on a run right now. They've made their last 6 shots, but it's a quick answer for Savannah Samuel, who rattles home the triple.
That was much needed. I was almost saying, Coach Blair, you might want to call a timeout here, but Savannah Samuel says, all right, I'll get 3 points on the board myself, and it was a nice 3 that rattled in for the corner.
Orange up 15, and Darius again draws a foul. That goes against Samuel. Timeout on the floor. Syracuse up by 15 points in a much higher scoring third quarter. We're back here in Syracuse and on the concourse here at the Dome. A great mural representing all of the legendary women here at Syracuse University, highlighted by Catherine Switzer, who will be here on February 8th. The SU grad became the first woman to officially compete in the Boston Marathon in 1967, breaking barriers for all women. And a look at the upcoming schedule for the Orange as well. I mentioned Switzer will be in town February 8th against 7th-ranked Louisville. That's National Woman and Girl in Sport Day, and that's when Catherine Switzer will be recognized. And then a week later on February 15th against Clemson, it's the Play for K game honoring Tiana Mangakia.
2 of the greatest women athletes that Syracuse has seen. Switzer didn't get to compete, of course, back in her day. Didn't have those women's cross country and track teams. And first woman she trained with the men, and she's also giving a speech at the great Newhouse School of Communications, where she was a public communications graduate the Friday before that big matchup against Louisville.
Really cool to have Catherine coming back in a few weeks and then honoring Tiana as well, a Syracuse legend on the basketball court who sadly lost her battle to cancer. And Crawshaw gets it to go for Georgia Tech out of the timeout. The Yellow Jackets still within striking distance, trailing by 15. Oh, with a nice feed. Isoje stuffed, 3rd time a charm, you bet.
That'll pad the rebounding stats a little bit.
Certainly. Syracuse has made 7 of its last 8 shots. Crawshaw, the spin move. Foul on the play.
Hey, let's help her up.
Syracuse foul on number 1, Kiro Scott. It's her first personal. Second team foul on the Orange. Number 3.
And that sends Jada Crawshaw to the line after the foul on Scott. Darius takes a seat. Crawshaw originally from Darwin, Australia, the northern part of the country, as she drains the first free throw. Spent her last 2 seasons at Long Beach State out west.
Just a little reference. Crawshaw's hometown of Darwin, Australia, major port city. You mentioned at the northern end of Australia. That's a 39-hour drive from Sophie Burrows' hometown of Lower Plenty, over 2,300 miles. Just for some reference, Syracuse to their furthest ACC opponent, Stanford, over 2,800 miles, so 500 miles more. Just shows you how big Australia is and how big the ACC has gotten as well.
Right. And Filia draws the foul. That goes against Savannah Samuel. She's up to 3. Crawshaw also bumped her. You could have
gone either.
made the case for either, yeah.
Filia's had a good game so far. Been impressed. 11 points, 5 for 8 shooting, 1 for 1 from beyond the arc. This is her first trip to the line where she shoots 83% on the year.
One of the more consistent free throw shooters you'll find in the conference.
Glasses, because suffered an eye injury last year when she was at Texas, detached retina, so she had to medically redshirt. Now finds herself in Syracuse wearing the goggles, where she seems to be seeing the basket pretty good.
Yeah, goggles not affecting her one bit. She's grown used to it as Georgia Tech turns it over. And a detached retina, not an easy type of injury to recover from. That's serious in terms of affecting your vision. And after surgery, she's made a full recovery. And one of SU's best players. Schmidt thought Scott was waiting beyond the arc. That's a great save, though, from Kira Scott. And Schmidt with the bounce pass inside. Izoje called for the travel. Before she went up with it, she took too many steps.
Officials are tightening up a bit on those walking violations a little bit, especially inside the arc. Both teams been called for it a couple of times.
A 17-point SU lead. The Orange trying to improve to 7-3 in conference play. The Yellow Jackets entering 4-5 in ACC action. That's left short by Crawshaw. The last touch by SU.
Georgia Tech can get a couple buckets in a row here. They can string a couple together. They might be back in this game as Coach Jack furiously puts Dominic Darius back into the game in favor of Scott.
Darius, the leading scorer at 15 points. Filia and Izoje have 13 apiece. The other two scorers in double figures. And that's a nice three. Cashed in by Talea Walker, who has 2 from downtown in the second half.
We've been waiting for Walker to heat up. 16.5 points per game on the year. Transfer from Penn State.
She's up to 9 points now after just 1 in the first half. Filia puts on the move and gets it to go. That's Layla Filia at her best, and she's up to 15.
That's a big game for her. She went 2 for 13 last game at North Carolina, so that was her first game back after a 1-game hiatus with a back injury, but she's looked right back on track, so doesn't look like that back is bothering her much anymore.
And that UNC game last time out was also the first time in 7 games she did not knock down a 3-point shot. She's 1 for 1 from beyond the arc tonight, so getting back to her consistent shooting ways from deep and from closer range. Walker stuffed, but a foul. The crowd doesn't love it. Izoje whistled for the infraction.
That was close. Not sure if I could tell watching it live, but something that the coaching staff for Georgia Tech has been saying. They want Walker to keep posting up on the inside, and in this case, the much bigger Izoje, and I don't think that was a foul. I think that was clean, but Walker is good at getting to the line, almost does it 6 times per game.
That's notably the 3rd foul as well on Izoje, who checks out right on cue, to a big applause from the fans on hand. 13 points, 14 rebounds. It's the 10th double-double for the freshman, who has just really garnered the attention of everyone across the nation in the world of women's hoops. And Walker trying to make amends. She does. A 1 for 2 trip. She's knocked down now over 100 free throws this season. Has only missed just over 20. She's a phenomenal free throw shooter. Filia is a phenomenal 3-point shooter. It's her 2nd of the game, and she's catching fire here in the 3rd quarter. She leads the Orange with 18 points.
Filia's getting hot. 70% from the field today, 2 for 2 from 3. I keep feeding her.
Why not? And the Orange 1 point away from tying their largest lead of the game, which was early second half. They have a chance to take that largest lead here. Darius outside. Filia thought about the 3, instead gives it back to Darius. The Orange have knocked down their last 3 shots. We're inside the final minute of quarter 3. Darius to the cup, foul.
a really nice take from Dominique Darius. Coach Jack loves the way she plays, and she says she wants even more aggression. She hit the deck hard.
You can hear it. But that's what Coach Jack loves to see, the aggression from Darius. The foul went against Catherine Albin, her second.
Last game was one of her best games of the year. 40 minutes, 19 points. Pretty good outing today as well. 16 so far for the grad transfer.
And she makes both. Darius, a perfect 7 for 7 at the line as well. And the Orange have their largest lead, 20, with 35 seconds left in the third.
Suffocating off-ball defense from Felia.
Albin trying to not get trapped in the corner. Gives it off for Turnage. And around it goes. Crawshaw. Separation. Can't get the tough shot to fall. And a foul underneath against Syracuse.
Something notable Turnage does. She really uses her offhand for leverage. You wonder how she gets so many of those offensive rebounds. She's going to put her hand and put her arm in the back of you, and that creates a little bit of a chance for her to jump up just a little higher and get away from it from the referees and tip it up, where she often does. She doesn't get it often on the first try. She tips it up to herself. That's what she did. Now she gets a chance to go to the line to shoot 2.
And after that first free throw, Turnage right here has a chance to notch a season high in points. She does. That's 11 for Brianna Turnage, who is also now just 4 points away from 300 in her career. 10 seconds left in the quarter. Darius pops. Gets it to go, and the foul. Albin called for the foul, and Darius gets the bounce to go her way.
Darius is catching fire. It looked like she could have hit Burrows. She was calling for the ball. She says, nope, I'll take it myself. Darius gets the Syracuse roll, goes to the line for one more with a chance for a 20-point game.
She's had 19 or more in the last 4 now, and it is a 20-point game after that free throw. And Albin is suffocated right away, but a foul called. Schmidt and Burrows hustling on the play. Schmidt called for the reach-in despite a great effort. And Georgia Tech is now in the bonus with that infraction, so a 1-and-1 for Albin. 2 shots, I should say.
I like being aggressive, but when there's only 3 seconds on the clock and they're probably not going to get a good shot off, you really don't want to foul there and send them to the line. Even though Albin, usually a decent free throw shooter, 73% on the year, misses the first.
First miss for her tonight, now 2 for 3. Trying to make amends here. She does. 71-51, Syracuse has 2 seconds. Darius flings it. Well short, but Syracuse doesn't care too much because a 31-point quarter has the Orange up by 20. The final 10 minutes are coming your way in a moment. 71-51, Syracuse tries to close it out. 4th quarter action after the break. Welcome back to the JMA Wireless Dome, where Syracuse leads Georgia Tech 71-51. And as we prepare to get the 4th quarter underway, if you're from Central New York, you're used to a ton of snow. We've grown used to it here in Syracuse. But Jada Crawshaw for Georgia Tech, who we mentioned is from Australia, played her first several years of college ball at Long Beach State, had never seen snow before until the team landed late last night. And we have a reaction to seeing snow for the first time in her life. Isn't that awesome? And there you see Crawshaw, who's nice and warm, hustling out here in the dome, but a cool reaction from her. Us here in Central New York probably sick of the snow by now, Riley, but for her, first time ever seeing it, and she was having fun enjoying it.
She was pelting. I don't know if her teammates were having fun. They were getting I don't know if I'd pass her the ball as much today.
I know, right? Great reaction from the head coach, Karen Blair, too. Cool moment. And there's a steal by Samuel.
Another good play defensively by Ophelia.
And the steal by Schmidt. Burrows pushes it ahead. Fitzgerald the bucket. Justice Fitzgerald, who hasn't played since December 16th, with a really cool moment there, giving Syracuse a 22-point lead. The pump fake from Samuel. Pass down low. Turnage the bucket. And she's now just 1 point off of tying her career high of 14 points in a game when she played for Florida State.
And Turnage just having herself a game. Double-double, 13 points, 11 boards, perfect shooting. You can't get much better than that.
No.
Especially when she went out earlier with what appeared to be an ankle injury. We weren't sure if she was going to return.
Burrows nets the three. That's her second of the game, and it's 76-53 SU.
Burrows shot just 1 for 8 from 3 last game, but she went 7 for 8 from 3 a few games ago at Virginia. So kind of on and off today so far. Been playing pretty well. Double dribble called.
And the three-point shooting for Syracuse has been lights out, 60%. They're 6 for 10 from beyond the arc, and when the Orange just shoot 30% or better from 3, they're 7-0 this season. It's a team that has been a little inconsistent from beyond the arc. They rank bottom 5 in the conference at just south of 30% from downtown on the year. They've doubled that percentage here tonight. That's a huge reason why they're up by 23 points.
Because they're taking smart threes. They're not just chucking every three they get. They're taking calculated shots with shooters they know can hit the buckets, and it's been working out for them. 6 for 10. Nice offensive rebound from the Cubes.
There's another one. Syracuse has won the rebound battle tonight. They have more than 10 than Georgia Tech. Ophelia can do it herself. And why not for Layla Ophelia? It's a 20-point game for the Texas transfer.
She can score it in bunches. She had 38 points on the 11th against Virginia, 20 on very efficient 8 for 12 shooting today.
Nice answer from Jada Crawshaw, the Australian we mentioned, who was at sunny Long Beach State before Georgia Tech. Atlanta, a nice place to be too weather-wise. Now coming up north and having a solid outing with 8 points. And that last touched Ophelia, who had it poked free. Izoje now back into the game. Kira Scott takes a seat for Syracuse, getting some instruction from Coach Jack.
We saw Coach Jack in shoot-around earlier today. Looked more like a practice than a shoot-around. I mean, there was pure intensity from the start. I mean, she was not taking this Georgia Tech team lightly. Instructed her players not to, and they're not.
What a rejection and takeaway by Burrows. Schmidt the no-look pass. Ophelia pops a three. It's good! Layla Ophelia from downtown, and Syracuse is running away with it.
Bench is loving it. They might be getting in the game soon. Syracuse is just dominating right now. Caught fire in the second half. Beautifully done.
Wow. Crawshaw putting on the moves, and she's in double figures with 10 points. Just 4 off her season high, which came against Wofford back at the end of December. This is coming after Crawshaw did not play in the last game. Izoje leaves it short, and the rebound secured by Thomas Harris. Foster. Outside Crawshaw. She has the hot hand for the Jackets. but not that time. An easy takeaway for Fitzgerald. Oh, and Thomas Harris hits the deck, but it's ruled a defensive foul.
Yeah, that was a big collision. I don't think Thomas Harris saw her coming. A couple subs coming in for Syracuse.
And still a good amount of starters staying out there. In fact, everyone but Schmidt. Lobbing Zoje, and when you leave her unguarded, she's gonna make you pay.
It's too easy. Great drawn up inbound play and works to perfection. No one was guarding the biggest paint threat.
And Karen Blair calls timeout. What a performance from the Orange, who have run away with it 83-57, and they're getting it done at both ends. The Burrows block and the Philia 3 in transition. Syracuse up big inside the dome. Back in the dome, where Syracuse leads Georgia Tech 83-57 with just over 5 minutes to go. Dominique Darius and Layla Philia combining for 43 points tonight.
Yeah, just beautifully done for both of them. It's really been a trio, too, with Uche Zoje as well. But don't count out Snoop Turnage having a double-double of her own. She's been very impressive.
She has. That 3 off the mark by Walker. And Syracuse the other way with the big 26-point advantage. Zoje wins the battle and puts it home. 17 points for the freshman.
Don't discount the 14 rebounds, too, the 4 blocks to go along with it. I mean, what a game from Uche Zoje, just capitalizing on this tremendous year she's been having.
Another just incredible performance from her. Walker to the cup, off the mark. That's just the type of night it's been for her, and Georgia Tech for that matter, at the offensive end of the floor. Oh my. And another blocking foul against Georgia Tech. That's the second time in the last few minutes that Thomas Harris has hit the deck. One more timeout on the floor with 4:39 to go. 85-57 Syracuse. We take you to the finish line next. 85-57 Syracuse all over Georgia Tech with 4:39 to go, and a big reason why, the play of Dominique Darius.
She's really coming to her own these past few games. She can score it inside with the best of them. Drawing in one, she's 8 for 8 from the charity stripe today, and she's just so good from the mid-range. She can hit about any shot with the hand in her face, and today has been her day. 20 points for Dominique Darius, 50% from the field. She chipped in 3 rebounds and 3 assists to go along with it.
And let's now go to our reporter, Hunter Caparelli.
Sam, Coach Jack has said Dominique has done a great job taking high percentage shots, whether it's either scoring or at least getting to the foul line. She still wants Darius to be more aggressive and have a higher intensity of purpose, which leaves her toughness and her heart on the foundations of her skill set, and she's excited to watch Darius continue to master her game over the remainder of ACC play.
Thanks, Hunter, and that's a really cool thing about Coach Jack, where she always wants more from her players, always demands more. In fact, earlier today during shoot-around, I asked her, if before the season I told you you'd be 16-4 overall, 6-3 in ACC, all really good numbers after last season didn't go as she would have liked, would you be happy? And she said, no, I want to be 20-0 right now. I want to strive to be the best. And that's what she wants from all of her players. And how about Oyindamola Akinbalawa getting into the game, the senior with a quick 2 points. She hasn't played since January 11th against Virginia. The Auburn transfer joining the fun.
They call her Big O. Lagos, Nigeria. Air ball corralled by Angelica Velez, who gets her first minutes since the Virginia game as well.
Maddie Potts into the game, so is the freshman Camden Nelson. A lot of players getting some run in the late stages. Meanwhile, Crawshaw continues to put in a quietly impressive performance. She's up to 14 points, which ties a season high. Akinbalawa over to Aurora Almon, who's also getting her first run. All 5 on the floor are. And Nelson with the turnaround, Jay.
Camden Nelson's a player the Syracuse staff is really high on, a 4-star Connecticut Gatorade Player of the Year. I mean, she hasn't played for a while. She started 3 games earlier this season. Velez is scrapping on the floor with Erica Moon, but Camden Nelson has a bright future with this program.
He certainly does. Foster gets the jumper, and it's a milestone moment for her. She has now surpassed 800 career points, a bulk of those in her first 2 years at Austin Peay. Now adding on to that tally with Georgia Tech. But what a response from Maddie Potts. The triple for the Australian.
There you go, some of these players, they know this is their time to shine. Maddie Potts drills one from deep. Another one from Crawshaw, though.
Another one, and that's her high with Georgia Tech, 16 points. Is the most she's scored for the Yellow Jackets all season. Nelson, great feed, and a foul underneath.
That was good vision from Nelson, though. And a good cut from Potts. Georgia Tech just had it covered, but it was a really good idea. Savannah Samuel checks into the game for Tech.
Nelson triggers in for Potts. Inside the final 2 minutes. Almon can't connect. And a foul called against Akinbalawa. What a statement from Syracuse tonight. Yeah, it's a Georgia Tech team that's perhaps having a down year compared to last season when they made March Madness. But it's still a very capable Yellow Jacket squad that's been tamed by Syracuse.
And Syracuse has looked really good. Put 52 points up in the second half so far. They didn't like that they lost in overtime against North Carolina. I mean, it's just a statement performance right now. Syracuse slotted at 8th in the latest ESPN bracketology, and if they keep winning these games that they need to, they'll keep going up and up and up.
Right, Syracuse trying to return to the big dance after missing out last year. They made it to the second round 2 seasons ago before falling to mighty UConn. Velez off the mark.
To win, Syracuse moves alone into 4th place in the ACC, trailing just Louisville, Duke, and North Carolina State.
3 rattles home for Savannah Samuel. And Syracuse is a minute away from its 7th ACC victory, and Velez joins the scoring party for Syracuse.
The bench loves that one. A junior from the Bronx gets everyone on their feet.
Nearly a 30-point game now. And with the shot clock winding down, Samuel has to shoot, and does. Gets it to go. Unorthodox, but an impressive finish from the former Boston College player. And with the shot clock off, all Camden Nelson has to do is dribble this one out. The Orange faithful rise to their feet here inside the dome. And Syracuse cruises to victory as the clock winds down from 8.
What a performance it was for Syracuse, and especially shooting the ball. 8 for 12 for threes. That's 67%. Shooting over 50% from the field. Efficiency at its finest, and the defense was just on all game long.
And there it is. It's all over. 94-70. Syracuse rolls to its biggest ever win against Georgia Tech in program history. And the Orange snatched their 7th ACC win of the season in dominant fashion.
Can't say enough about it. Coach Jack's squad came with a fire. I mean, they came in pumped up. They looked good in practice earlier today, and they executed when they needed to. 94-70, a big-time win over a Georgia Tech team they expected to beat, but still, they beat them very handedly.
As we take a look at what's up next for Syracuse, they travel to a Miami team on the bubble, then they go to Boston College, and the big one at home against 7th-ranked Louisville, arguably the best team in the conference, before a trip to Pitt and then a date at home with Clemson. What a statement from the Orange tonight, who were dominant from start to finish after outscoring the Jackets by 10 in that first quarter of play. Again, 94-70, the final score in this one. Syracuse rolls to the victory as we get the second half of the ACC slate started. And let's now go to our reporter, Hunter Caparelli, who is standing by with one of the stars of the game, Layla Filia. Hunter.
Layla, you finished with 23 points and 9 for 13 shooting. Coach Jack told us earlier today she believes you're ready to start showing people who you really are. How has Coach Jack's support impacted your game?
Honestly, each and every day coming into practice, she's always encouraging me. She's always pushing me on and off the court. And I feel like with that confidence that she's instilled in me, it's been helping me tremendously. So, and then with my teammates just being behind me 110%, always rooting me on, it's definitely been helping me throughout this season.
Your squad forced 19 turnovers, and you held Georgia Tech's top scorer, Talia Walker, to just 10 points. What does Coach Jack emphasize on the defensive side of the ball?
We're a family, having each other's back, and I feel like that's the biggest thing. And for today, I feel like we had each other's back out there, and we were able to get the job done.
You guys are now 17-4, 7-3 in conference play. What are you guys looking to prove through the remainder of ACC play?
I feel like the biggest thing for us is just to prove it to ourselves that we deserve a spot out there, and we put the work in. So, yeah.
Thanks, Layla. Congrats on the win.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hunter, and thank you, Layla. What a performance from Layla Filia, who had a game-high 23 points for the Orange. From start to finish, this was Syracuse's game. 94-70, the Orange get the victory. For our producer, Kristen Hennessy, our reporter, Hunter Caparelli, our statistician, Danny Erb, and my partner, Riley Underwood, I'm Sam Reese saying so long from Central New York, the Orange victorious.